Right. Yesterday we discussed about the basic fundamental of the Palo Alto Firewall. Means we talk about the what is a firewall, right? And what is
Yes.
the key concept of the firewall. So do you have any question on that? Or you
No.
it's clear to you, right?
Yes.
You understand what is a firewall and all.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. All right. So now today,
Ah,
what we have to understand? We have to understand the some key concept of the firewall, right?
mm,
If we are going to talk about the Palo Alto, so we have to understand why this Palo Alto firewall have some unique features. Like, whenever you're going to configure any firewall, especially for the Palo Alto, right? You must have to configure the zone. That's the primary requirement, right? Means any interface you are going to configure, you have to define a zone. So we have to understand what is a zone. This is what I'm talking, security zone. Okay.
mm,
So we have to understand what is the key benefits of zone and why this zone is very important. So let's take an example. We have the firewall, right? This is my firewall. This firewall can have the multiple interfaces. This could be 0 by 0. This could be 0 by 1. And take an example, this could be my 0 by 2 as well. This is another interface 0 by
ah,
3. Okay.
mm,
This interface have the 192, 168, 10 dot 0/24 subnet. Here is the one. This have the 172.16.10.0/24, and this is going to be dot 1. This might be dot 1, but subnet could be 10.10.10.0/24. And this is the another subnet where might be I can use that 172.20.10.0/24, and that is the another interface. So we have the multiple interfaces on the same firewall. And think this is my Palo Alto firewall. This firewall is the Palo Alto firewall. So very first thing you have to always remember, if you are going to configure the Palo Alto firewall, your firewalls can have the multiple type of interface. This could be the layer 2 interface. This firewall can have the layer 3 interface. This firewall can have the VLAN interface, right? This firewall can have the sub interface, right? This firewall can have the tunnel interface. You can create the loopback interface. There are the another interface that is the tap interface. Okay, tap mode, basically we call it tap mode. Clear? This
ah,
could be the vWire interface, which we know as the vWire mode. And last but not least, that is the HA interface. We are going to use these all interfaces in our configuration. Let me show you. So if I go here in the Palo Alto Firewall, if I'm going to log in it, you are going to find these all interfaces are going to be part of this configuration. So let me show you. So you can see here, if I'm going the network, this network, we have the interface. So we have the normal interfaces, we have the VLAN interfaces, we have the loopback interfaces, we have the tunnel interfaces, right? Clear? This
yes.
normal interface can be your tap mode interface type. See, tap mode. This is what I written. Tap mode. Okay. This
Mm,
can be as a vWire as well. Okay. That's why I
mm,
written as the vWire as well, right? This can be your aggregated interface. We'll talk later what is aggregated interface. This can be HA interface. This can be layer 2 interface. This can be your layer 3 interface. So this one interface can be configured and utilized in different way while doing the configuration. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. But very important and key concept you have to remember in every type of the interface. So whatever the interface we mention here, right? Except last one. In every interface, you have to configure. Sorry, you have to configure a zone, not HA, my bad. You have to configure a zone. You got it? Means any interface you are going to configure, you must have to define a zone, except the HA. HA is the only one interface where you might configure a zone, where you might means you don't require to configure a zone. You don't have the option to configure a zone there in HA. Means the HA interface don't require any kind of zone. It's clear?
Yes.
So now we have to understand what is zone. What is zone and why you use the zone? That's the key concept we have to understand. So if I explain in the bookish language, it's going to be very hard to understand. Means what is a zone? But if I just try to explain in the layman language, you're going to understand. But let me first explain my definition as per the Palo Alto ebooks or Palo Alto definition. So if you are going to learn what is zone, so they are going to say zone is the logical grouping. Zone is a logical grouping of network interfaces that can be your layer 2, layer 3, VLAN, sub-interface, tunnel, loopback, tab, virtual wire. Could be anything. But it is going to group your logical interfaces. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So this can be logical grouping of your network interfaces, and these interfaces can be any type except the HA that represent a network segment with the security requirement which is going to be similar. Up, what does mean of this definition? So definition mean, let's suppose this is my one interface and I'm going to put as a HR zone. Okay, but network is different. Make sense? But I'm going to put as a HR zone. And this is my another interface. That's again network is different, but I'm going to put this one as a also HR zone. So these are going to be put similar security policy requirement. Means they technically belong to one zone. These two interfaces technically going to belong one zone because they have the same zone. So by default, they can allow to talk each other by default. Means if I'm going to say, means the zone is going to be same, they're going to talk. Let me draw one of the another example so you're going to get understand. Let's take an example. This is my company. This company have the multiple blocks where different employee is going to be sit. This company have the multiple block. So let's suppose this is my HR block. This is also HR block. This is also HR block. This is my IT. This is my IT. This is my sales. This is my sales. And this is also my sales. Every cubicle, let's suppose this have the capacity to sitting at 30 people, 30 people, 30 people. This have a 20, 40 people, 15, 20, 35 people. They can sit, but sales guys can sit only the sales department. HR people can sit the HR department. IT people can sit in the IT department. Make sense?
Yes.
So let's suppose I'm coming to the office and already before me 30 people come. So they can sit in this particular department. Next, who is going to come after 30? they have to sit in this particular cubicle. After 30 days, they're going to sit here. But let's suppose today I get the sitting in this cubicle. Tomorrow, if I'm coming little bit early, so might be I can get the seat in this cubicle. So the point is, if I am the HR people, by default, I have the access of these two and these area access. Make sense? I can go and sit anywhere because I'm the same department, right?
Yes.
Similarly, IT can people sit within the IT area without any issue. Means they have the access. Sales can go and sit in the sales area without any problem. So what does mean? If my department is same department people can sit anywhere. By default, their access is allowed. Allowed to work from any like whatever that have the ODC, OMC, or might be the workplace area, they can go and sit. But the catch is if this IT people want to work here, can do that? Can they can enter? Can they enter Francisco?
No.
No, because they do not have the department access. They can, but they have to require the special approval, right?
Yes.
They require the special approval, then they only can get access. But by default, they are not allowed to access. Not allowed to access. Make sense? So what I mean, there is a two term is going to use. One is that is known as the intra department, and one is another is inter department. Intra means the same department, right?
Yes.
Inter means
Outside.
different department. So in our condition, if HR want to go in the HR department, their access is by default
Intra.
allowed, right? And this is known as the intra. So by default, what they're able to do? They are able to sit, they are able to walk. Make sense?
Yes.
By default, they are able to sit and they are able to work. The second condition, if my HR want to go in the sales department, that is known as the inter department. What is going to happen? By default,
Not allowed.
not allowed. So this is the how actually we have the in layman language example where my same department people can sit in the any area of the same department. They're not having restrictions, but different department people cannot sit in a different area because they not have the access. And if they want, they require the what required? Special
Special.
approvals. Then up they're going to do that. So now I'm coming back to the my original diagram, that is a firewall. Okay, clear? This one clear?
Yes. Yes.
So if I coming to my original firewall where we started our discussion, this is my Palo Alto firewall, right? This Palo Alto firewall have the multiple interfaces. Okay, just take an example. Ethernet 0 by 0, 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 3, 0 by 4, 0 by 5. We have the different network. Let's suppose this having a network /24. This have a network 11.11.0/24, 12.12.12.12/24, 13.13.13.13/24. This is network. Just think about it, or you can make it 0. This one is going to 14.14.14.14 0/24. This one is 15. 15.15.0/24. So we have the different network. But if I'm going to put this one is my HR, and this is going to be HR. Francisco. So
Yes,
if these two want to talk, can they talk?
yes, easily, because they have the same,
Same zone, right?
yes, yes,
So this is the zone. This is the one zone. Now, if I'm going to put this is my IT people, IT zone, and this is the another IT zone. They are still going to talk. So what I mean to say, if my network are different, right? But the interface zone are same. By default, they're allowed to talk. But if this IT want to talk to HR, can they talk?
they need a special approval.
Yeah, they need a special approval, right? Because IT and HR is two different zone and they are not allowed to talk. So that's why in Palo Alto Firewall, a zone concept is the process. Let me mute yourself. Please mute. You have some background noise. So zone is a process where we have to logically group our interfaces. Could be the physical interface, could be your virtual interface that require the similar security policy requirement. So in Palo Alto Firewall, how it is happening? In Palo Alto Firewall, they are a predefined policy. Hold on. In Palo Alto Firewall, we have the predefined policy. And what is that? The very first policy is known as the intra-zone policy. And second policy is known as the inter-zone policy. So whenever any packets hit in the firewall, whenever the packet is going to hit to the firewall, and this is my, let's suppose, Palo Alto Firewall. So this is the one PC which have the IP address 192.168.10.10/24. The gateway is 1. Let's suppose this is my LAN zone. They want to go on the internet. Okay. So this is might be going to be another interface. This is my Ethernet 0x0. This is the Ethernet 0x1. And this is my another IP address. But this is my WAN zone. Might be another server is put it here. In the same LAN, we have the server 1. This one having IP address is like 172.16.10.0/24.1. But this is also belong to the LAN zone. So we have the two requirement. One, this PC should access the internet. That's the one flow 1. Another, I have a requirement. This PC should access the server. Clear?
Yes.
This is my flow 2. So whenever the packet is going to hit my Palo Alto Firewall, for every packet, Palo Alto Firewall is going to take 3 actions. Whenever this PC want to go on the internet, suppose it want to go on the 8.8.8.8, like Google DNS, or might be the google.com, or might be this server. Palo Alto Firewall is going to perform 3 actions. First, they will check the routing. Routing is there or not. If there is no routing, no further processing. Clear? If there is no routing, there is no further processing. Second, they are going to check a security policy. If there is no policy, it is not going to process. Then third, they also sequence might be going to be changed. NAT policy is going to be top, second one. Okay. So they are going to check the NAT policy. It's not always mandatory. That's why I'm writing in the third place NAT policy. Some cases required, some case it is not required. Let's suppose you talking LAN to LAN. So there is no NAT required. Make sense?
Yeah.
But if you are going on the internet, the NAT is mandatory. So you have to think where NAT is going to require and where NAT is not going to be required. So in short, what I make a point, if there is no routing, no packet processing is going to happen. So in this case, the Palo Alto Firewall, this network 192.168.10.0/24 is directly connected network. Directly connected, and this also directly connected. Make sense? So they are in the same routing table. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, the policy is also required. So they are going to check, do you have a policy? So by default, Palo Alto Firewall have the predefined policy, intra-zone and inter-zone. In intra-zone, they are going to say everything is allowed. Inter-zone, they are going to say everything is going to be deny or blocked. Clear?
Yes.
So if routing is okay, then definitely this LAN to LAN traffic is going to be processed. They are going to by default talk. But if this want to go on the internet, can talk or not?
No.
No. Why? Because this policy is saying you are not allowed to talk. So let me show you. So by default, if I am going here, you have the firewall, you go in the policy. These are the two policy. You can see inter-zone and intra-zone. This policy saying if the same zone traffic is coming, it is going to be allowed.
Wow.
You can do the labs also. Let me show one of the lab. Hold on. Or I can do one thing. Let this lab is ready. So I can use this lab for the just demonstration. Let's wait. I need to check the IP address. Okay. So system info. So the IP is 137. So let me log in this firewall. So I'm in the Palo Alto firewall. And let's wait. So I will do some short of the communication between these two PCs, and I will show you how they are going to talk. They are two different network, but I will make in the same network, and we'll see how they are going to talk to each other. So very first thing you can see, this Palo Alto firewall have the two interface. Let's suppose this is my DMZ zone, but I'm going to make as a trust zone. Take an example. This is also in trust zone. So now we have the one network 192.168.10.0.172. So by default, if my firewall do not have any policy, I'm not going to configure any policy. Still, they are going to talk to each other.
Yeah.
This PC want to go on the internet. This PC want to go on the internet. Because this is the untrust zone, then we require the specific policy. It is not going to work. So I want to showcase in this. So let me go here. And first, let me delete all existing policy if you have any. Let me check. Yeah, so there is no policy. You can see brand new firewall. And if I go in the network also, probably we not have any configuration. So let's configure one by one. So I'll start with the PC configuration. So I'll go PC and assign the IP address. So I'll go here PC and assign the IP address, change it up to settings. And let me go there. There is no IP address. So I will assign the IP address like 172. (1610.10). The subnet mask is this one. Gateway is going to be firewall IP address. So we are going to configure 10.1. We'll put the DNS as well, 1.1.1, or might be the 8.8.8.8. These are two DNS. I'm going to use that. One more thing, you just disable the firewalls on the PCs because firewall block the ICMP in the window PC. So make sure you disable the firewall as well. So I love the firewall of the firewall apply. Okay. That's the one thing. Now I'll go and do the similar thing in the different PC, the DMG PC, but subnet is going to be different. So I'll go here DMG PC. First, I'll disable the firewall because window PC block my ICMP traffic. So I will go here and I can simply off this and I'll apply it. This is the very first thing. Second thing, I'll go there, properties, and I will change the IP address. So I will go here and then I will give the 10.10 192.168 10.1. I'll put this one as the okay, Francisco. Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are done with the firewalls, means the PCs. Switch, you don't have to do any configuration. This switch also you don't have to do any configuration. Now let's talk firewall. So I'll configure these interfaces in a same zone. This is going to be trust. This is also going to be in trust. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll see how they are talking to each other. They have the different subnet, but still they are going to talk. So I'll just show my proof of concept, which we discussed. Session 1/2 and 1/3. So I'll go here 1/2. This is going to my layer 3 interface. The virtual router, I'll discuss what is the virtual router, but just put as a default virtual router. Most important, we are talking about security zone. So I'll go and put that security zone in the trust zone. Okay, this is going to my trust. Done. And I'll go and define the IP address. This is going to be my 172.16.10.1/24 IP address. And we have one of the concept that is the management profile. So I will explain what is the management profile, but I'm just applying. Management profile is a process. If you're not going to allow the management profile on the interfaces, by default, your any interface except the management interface, they are going to block your ICMP, SSH, Telnet, ping, anything is going to block. So if you want to ping your interfaces, you have to allow the management interface. You know that's concept.
Okay.
I'll explain, don't worry, I will explain. So I'm just going to create my management profile, mgmt profile. In this, I'm going to say my interface 1/2 should allow SSH, ping, or HTTPS. If I'm not going to put, they are not going to respond my ping. If I'm going to ping that IP address. So I'm putting it. We'll talk separately on it. Don't worry. Similarly, I'll go in this interface. This is also going to be layer 3. This is going to be my virtual router. Security zone is going to be there. Trust. Because I want to put in the same security zone. Now it is going to check the new IP 168/24 and I'll just use the management interface. This is my management profile. Done. So now I have done the configuration. I'm not going to do any other configuration. Just these two configuration, I'll commit this. Nothing more than that. Okay. And we'll see, are they going to meet all three requirements? See, so NAT is not required in this scenario because we are in the same LAN network, right? So NAT is not going to require. But they require two things. First is routing. And what is second thing, Francisco?
NAT.
Sorry?
Security policy.
Yes. Security policy.
And NAT.
NAT is not required. Third, if we are in the same LAN, na? That's
yes.
NAT is not same LAN private network. NAT is not required. It's not mandatory. We can do that, but it's not mandatory. If you have the special case, then we can do. If I want to go on the internet, then NAT is going to require.
Okay.
Wait for a while. Let's commit complete, then we will verify. What is happening here? So you can see here. Now almost we are done. So now it's done. You can see. So now if I'm going to be test, right? So you can see the first it will check routing. Do you have routing or not? What do you think? They have routing or not?
Routing there.
How it is routing is there?
Because you configure the Palo Alto, the port.
Yes, they are the connected interface. So routing I can verify. I go in the virtual router, and if you go in the more runtimes and you go in the routing table, the both network are directly connected. So they are already available in the routing table. So they have the routing, connected route. This is also connected route. So routing is there. That's one is fulfilled. Now they will verify do you have the security policy or not. So we have the security policy or not. What do you think?
This one is a default.
Francisco, what do you think? Security policy is there or not?
The security policy, no, this is a default. Because they have the same.
So we do not have to create a security policy because they have the default security policy already available in firewall. You cannot modify, you cannot delete. So it's saying intra-zone. And what it's saying, it is going to allow traffic. Clear?
Yes.
So now we have routing and we have security policy. So in that case, if I'm going on this PC and try to reach this PC, it should work. Let me test it. So if I'm going in this PC and try to another PC, it should absolutely work. So I will check what is my IP. And if I try to ping my 172.16.10.10, so it's pinging. Okay. And which security policy it is hitting, you can verify from here by checking the logs. If I go here, see there the packet are coming. Hits counts are there, right? And if you go little bit this section and you want to check the live session, you will see that Your traffic is coming from this address and you're going to this address, and which security policy it is hitting? Intra-zone default. Make sense?
Yeah.
So this is how you get define a policy. Means predefine a policy is going to come in a picture to just allow the communication. But if I configure the third interface, which is going on the internet, will they talk by default? The answer is no. For
No.
that, we have to require the routings because we have to go on the internet. So we have to do the default routing. We have to configure the security policy and NAT as well. So let me first configure my internet. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my internet interface, layer 3. Virtual router still I'm going to use as default. The security zone is going to be my untrust because I'm going to the internet. Make sense?
Mm.
So I'll untrust IP. I need to assign this IP address. .x means I'll check the free IP address. I'll tell how you're going to check the free IP address. But let me check in my LAN is going to act as a WAN. So I'll ping any random IP address. Yeah, it's a free 68. So I will configure 68 as my WAN IP address. /24. This is done. I'll just call the management profile also. If I want to reach this IP from outside, it is going to be reachable. That is the interface. Now we have to define the routing as well. And that is going to be default route because you have to go on the internet. Then you must require the BGP or static routing table. So I'm going to configure the static default pointing toward the gateway of the GUINET internet router. Default route. The route is going to be 10.0.0, sorry, 0.0.0. Interface is going to be 1. Next hop is going to be 192.168.1. This is our internal router gateway IP address. I'll click OK. This is also done. If I commit here, it is not going to work because we have the intra-zone policy. We did the routing. We not did the NAT and security policy. So it is not going to work for me. We have to complete my security and NAT policy. Then only this PC are going to be on the internet. So if I'm going to try to ping the internet like 1.1.1, say it is not pinging. If I'm trying to go on this particular PC as well, even my routing is going to complete. Try to ping 8.8.8, it is not going to ping. Why? Because we can do the routing, but after even routing, we have to do the NAT and security policy. So let's complete this one, then we'll test this. Wait for commit. Commit failed. Let me retry again. Sometime commits fail in the virtual environment, but it is going to happen. Don't worry. So almost done, but you can see this is still not pinging. Why? Because we not have the NAT and security policy. So we have to create a security policy. How it is going to happen? I will add the policy from here, and I just put the policy name trust to internet. This is my policy is going to happen trust to internet. The source is going to be my zone. Let's make any. The zone must be visible. Hold on, it's committed or not? Now it's committed. Hold on, let me retry again. So I'll put the trust to internet policy. The source, it is going to be my LAN zone trust. I'm putting any address. Destination I'm going to put as a untrust, and I'm going to say everything should be allowed because we're in the test policy. So I'm going to say anything and all. Make sense? So this
Yes.
policy is going to be in top of these two policy. Okay. So security policy is there. Now I have to do the NAT also if I want to go on the internet. Without NAT, it is not going to work. We'll discuss in deep detail what is a NAT, what is security policy. So I'll do here source NAT. And this will, I will talk source is going to come from my trust. Destination is going to my untrust. Destination interface is this one. Source address, let's put or let it any address is coming. For any destination address, I want to translate. Basically, I'm going to do with a pat. I'll explain what is the pat and all, but let's understand how packet is going to process. So I'm saying NAT is also required. Security policy required, NAT is also required. Now, if I commit, then you'll see after that, the PC is going to communicate to the internet because their minimum requirement, security policy, NAT policy, routing has been completed. So now they will talk to internet. So you have to wait 2 minutes. So 70% done. Now let's wait. And you'll see probably we have the internet access. Clear?
Yes.
So now we have the internet access because we created the all minimum 3 requirement. And the policy why it's required because without, if you go in this PC now, you open the internet, it is going to work. We make the actual internet connectivity in our lab, which is just going on the internet without any problem because we did some short of the NAT policy and routing requirement. So let's say page is getting load. And if you are going to, the page is going to open. If you're going to open any page like Times of India, any news, Times of London, you're going to open, right? So you're going to be open any kind of the internet. So it is going to work. So this is how it is going to be work. Any questions here you have?
Oh, sir.
Okay, so we understand zone concept.
Yes.
We understand the basic NAT and security policy requirement, right?
Yes.
We understand about like how the my basically policy is going to play a very important role here. Without
Yes.
policy, you cannot do anything.
Yes.
Now we